China has a modern face these days. Neon lights in the capital, sky cranes and construction everywhere, a warm capitalist gloss all over. The face may have had a do-over, but the system is the same. The events unfolding in Tibet and neighboring provinces right now are refreshing memories of the Tiananmen Square crackdown nearly 2 decades ago. Not all of China's great leap forward economically has erased the chilling and iconic image of that lone protester standing in the path of a file of army tanks, and the even greater turbulence of the Cultural Revolution. The Tibet crisis has provoked a worldwide response which threatens to spoil China's great coming out party, the Beijing Olympics. The Olympics are quite plainly intended, from China's perspective, to signal and symbolize its newfound strength and modernity, its fresh place as a truly great power on the world stage. It wishes to be seen as reborn, as a country no longer in the totalitarian cult of Maoism, no longer given to lethal spasms such as the Cultural Revolution of the 60s. But if you listen to some of its current rhetoric flowing from Chinese authorities, it's fair to ask how much really has changed. Take its campaign against the Dalai Lama, one of the most peaceful, long-suffering, genuinely humanitarian leaders on the face of the earth. The description of him by Chinese authorities is like something out of a bad, dated comic book. Quote, "The Dalai Lama is a wolf in monk's robes, a devil with a human face, but the heart of a beast." Yeah, and Gandhi was a kickboxing skinhead. For nearly 50 long years, he has consistently sought a middle way for the integrity of Tibet, never urging its full autonomy, even as the culture and religion of his country has been brutally ransacked or repressed. A government which fears or seeks to malign the character of someone so quintessentially pacifist, which seeks to paint him as the villain, has some serious mirror-gazing to do. But then, the communist leadership is infinitely tone deaf, as they are tone deaf when they warn Western leaders not to meet with the Dalai Lama. As too are their emissaries, it's worth noting, which we saw in Calgary this week, where members of the Chinese embassy there grabbed a 15-year-old Tibetan refugee who'd scaled the embassy's fence and held him for some hours, reportedly telling him, diplomatically it's assumed, that if he wore his pro-Tibet T-shirt in China, he would have been shot. Where are those fabulous human rights commissions when we really need them? The question inescapably arises, should the world, or at least the democracies, attend the Beijing Games as if nothing is happening in Tibet? Are the economics of trade with China more important than registering disapproval over the suffocation of real human rights? These particular games are far more important to China as public relations, as propaganda, than they are to the world as a sports summit. But timidity at upsetting China will provide 100 rationalizations for everyone to simply go along, after muttering a few diplomatic rebukes so subtle as to be imperceptible, or a pro forma statement like the Prime Minister's today calling for restraint. The Games will make for great television for us in the West and throw a whole new layer of the thickest makeup on the new face of China, which is, more or less, the same old face with a lot more money and power. For The National, I'm Rex Murphy.